By now, you've probably heard my Magic Wand story. It's a brand that's been part of my personal journey for more than 20 years. But no matter how many times I sing Magic Wand's praises, I'll never be able to fully capture the story of this incredible brand. Well, now journalist and author Kate Sloan just completed a limited audio series documenting the history and impact that Magic Wand has created over the last 56 years. It's called Making Magic. And the series chronicles Magic Wand's incredible brand story through interviews with nearly 40 experts, performers, business owners, educators, and fans. So I got a sneak preview of the series, and what I loved is that Kate weaves together snippets from all their interviews into this amazing story arc. She covers Magic Wand's journey from appliance store massager to its legendary influence on culture and sexual independence, and it's all just fascinating. The first episodes of Making Magic are available now at makingmagicseries.com or on all popular podcast platforms. Just search for Making Magic or visit makingmagicseries.com today. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. On today's show, I'm taking calls and helping you breathe some life back into your bedroom routine. Topics include reasons why you might not be enjoying sex and how to turn it around, ways to navigate opening up your relationship, what to do when your partner just won't compromise when it comes to oral, and how to revive a sex life that's gone downhill. All this and more. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, check out sexwithemily.com. If you haven't been there lately, you should check it out. All the things we have there to help you have better sex and relationships. Find us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. They're everywhere now. Do you guys realize? Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the places. What's the newest place? I don't remember. There's a lot of places. You know. And we love when you comment and subscribe on iTunes. That's awesome. And if you haven't heard the news, I am on SiriusXM Radio, Stars, Channel 109, and I am there weekdays, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific and 8 to 10 East. And it's been such an amazing month that we've been on there. I'll be on there for a while now, you guys, about 2 years, maybe the rest of my life. I love it so much. I'm so excited because I'm reaching so many more of you, helping you with your sex and relationships. So check it out. If you don't have Sirius, not to worry. We're never stopping the podcast, you guys. We'll always be releasing podcasts. And also, you can get a free trial on our site if you're interested in that. Find us on all social media at Sex with Emily, because we're there and we're doing fun things. And I'm here with Jamie before we get into calls.
Hello.
And we are doing fun things because, well, I guess this is down, but maybe we could save our Kivin method.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this. Oh, I don't want to get into it now.
No,
just
but
check out the thing. People love this oral sex tip that I gave. You got to go to our Instagram and see the video.
Yes. And then, on Instagram, there are highlights. So it is in the pleasure section.
It's in the pleasure section. But we talked about this term on one of the episodes called the Kivin method for oral sex. And people are like, trying it. It's working and freaking out. Like, I wish I could
we got another email today.
We did?
Yeah.
Gosh. We got to name it the Emily method or something. Not that I want to take it from Kivin, but we don't know who that is.
Right. The Kivin method as told by Emily.
Exactly. I'm fine. It's not about my ego. It's just because I don't know who the hell Kivin is. But I like the Grafenberg thing. Like the G-spot is named after Grafenberg. And I get he was like a doctor and he found the G-spot. But he was a dude. So the whole thing is confusing to me. And I feel like I'd like women naming things that women have, like oral sex on women. Okay, anyway, we are going to get into some sex in the news right now. Really, this is news to help you and tips to help you enjoy sex more, which is what we're all about here. And I love this list because we're thinking about it here. We're like, we often talk on this show about one of the most common questions we get asked is about mismatched libidos. Said another way, you want sex more times than your partner does, more frequently than your partner does. Your partner wants it more than you do. You used to want it, now you don't. All that stuff about, or just not in the mood for sex, which happens. Or it's no longer as hot as it was in the beginning. We talk about that a lot. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about these things that we're going to go down here and read to you is that reasons you might not be enjoying sex. And I have a feeling that there's going to be many aha moments when you hear these. Because it's not just, I had a bad day or I'm not in the mood. Like there's other things in here. So I wanted to share.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know until someone says it. And then you're like, oh, wait, that sounds
like me. Exactly. These all sounded like me. I'm like, oh. And then you can be more specific with your partner. You're like, these are the 6 reasons why I don't want to have sex. So let's go through these. You're uncomfortable about your past sexual experiences. Maybe you've had trauma in the past. Maybe you are worrying that, your partner is way more experienced than you are and you don't know what you're doing in bed. And so as a result, these are going to make it tough. These are going to make it hard for you to really enjoy sex.
How do you get past that?
Well, if you have a sexual trauma, you guys know I've said this, and I'm going to say it in every episode if I have to, that if you have sexual trauma, it doesn't go away. In fact, as years go by, it could get worse. It gets deeper inside you, but that means it spreads. You got to nip it in the bud. You got to go to therapy. You got to deal with past sexual trauma because unfortunately it will not evaporate into thin air. So that's what I suggest. And then worrying about your partner's experience, like to me, I know I hear that from a lot of people, a lot of young people. I hear it from all different ages because people who've been married for a long time and they get divorced and they're worried they don't know how to have sex. Here's the good news about that. With every new partner, it's a new moment in time. It's a new partner. It's a new sexual experience. So everyone's different for what they want. So if you pay attention, you ask questions, you learn what each other want, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, at all. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that people just worry about and is just be present, pay attention, and be honest about and if you think that, you're like, I'd like to know more of what you want to your partner because be honest. I feel like I don't have a lot of experience with sex. So if there's, something we could work on together, let me know rather than worrying about it.
Yeah. It's so much better to be upfront in that way than trying to pretend like all the things, because then you're also in your head. You're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm doing this just to perform. I don't even know if this actually feels good to me.
Right. It's a much more authentic experience sexually if you're really honest about what your concerns are, especially when it comes to the experience thing.
Mm-hmm. I think.
All right. So you feel shame or stigma about your sexual needs or wants. This is huge. I think a lot of us sit on things because we feel guilt, we feel shame that we want more from our partner, whether it's more foreplay, more kinky stuff. We want to open up the relationship and we just sit on it, just like a trauma. Like if you can't, these things don't go away. If you're not asking for what you want because you're shameful, and then it's not the relationship you should be in. Life's too short for bad sex. Why not have what you want? That's going to keep you from having the sex you want.
And then I feel like people have these shames and stigmas because no one's talking about it in your life. So you're exactly. Like, I've never heard my friend talk about this, so I'm not going to bring it up, and I'm not going to bring it up to my partner.
Exactly. You've never heard it talked about, which has been so interesting on the Sirius show, because you guys, we're doing that 10 hours a week now, which has been amazing. And it's amazing because it's a whole new audience, people who maybe have heard the show, but probably not. And they really have never, a lot of people are like, I'm sitting on this stuff. I mean, you guys are listeners. You've probably been listening for a while, or maybe you're new. Welcome to the show. But you realize that, of course, we assume that what we think is weird, everything we think is weird. And most people are calling me going, is it okay that I sometimes have a fantasy, or that I might want to see my partner have sex with someone else? Like, people think it's like, I've been carrying this for 25 years. And I'm like, and then 15 people call in because it's immediate and say, I've had that too. Mm-hmm. So just know, you guys, if you're not talking about it, it's time to let it out and be free with what you need and talk to your partner about it in a healthy way. Perhaps you've been given false or sex negative messages about sex or sexuality. You might have heard things about sex, about, that you should wait for sex, or that it's wrong if you have a certain type of sex. It might have been when you were a kid, you heard messages or whenever, and you think, well, this will make me blank, slutty, out there, against my religion, and challenge it. I mean, think to yourself, where did I get this message from? Because if this resonates with you, you're like, oh, I have a sex negative thought. Like, I believe that asking for what I want in bed is going to make me seem, I don't know, slutty, or what I think
that's what some
a lot of
typically
women.
Women.
Yeah. Or if I tell my partner that my fantasy, they're going to leave me. Or if I have a fantasy, I'm cheating on my partner. So what you have to realize here is that you're allowed to, as an adult, check in and go, oh, this is kind of troubling me. Where did I get this message from? Does it still serve me? Is it true? Like the woman I talked about who I met at a party who said to me, she asked me, she was like in her 20s, and she said to me, I want to be casually dating right now, but I don't think I can just go out with someone if I know that I'm not going to end up with them because of her religion or because, she's like, I'm supposed to wait for sex till marriage. And my parents just told me that. She goes, but you're making me realize that that's what my parents believed. That I actually, and she said it was so honest. It was such an authentic moment we had because she said, you gave me permission. Oh, then she follow up, right? In an email. She did actually follow up with me. I just remembered this on a direct message or something. And she said, thank you so much for giving me permission to challenge. I actually realized that it was my parents' beliefs and that it wasn't mine. And as an adult, I'd never given myself the chance to develop my own opinions about sex and about what was right for me.
Yeah, no, I remember that message now. And it's really cool when you have those aha moments, I think, too. Yeah. Because you kind of realize, too, you're like, wait a second. Like, I can have my own thought on this.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean,
nothing bad's going to happen.
Yeah. And we carry these messages with us to the privacy of our bedrooms. Like, we're like, oh, I can't do that because society thinks it's wrong. It's like, society is not here.
They are not in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Unless you're on a webcam or something. They're not in the bedroom with you, which is cool.
Yeah.
If you're into that, that's cool too. But they're probably not there. It's just you and your own thoughts. Okay, you're on a medication. This is huge, you guys, that impacts your libido or physical sensations during sex. Antidepressants, you guys. I mean, it is like 2 out of 5 women or 1 out of 5 women. I'm not sure what the number is for men, but there's a whole lot of us on antidepressants. And if it's an SSRI antidepressant, it's going to impact your sex drive. You might not link it to that. So there's a lot, you guys. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, blood pressure, birth control pill, allergy meds, antihistamines. Not every medication, but Jesus, so many do. So if you're thinking, wow, you know what? That might have been my meds ever since I started them. I don't want to have sex. So that's when you go in and talk to your doctor. And you say, what else can you do? You're dealing with a medical condition that makes sex painful. If you're having pain during sex, you're automatically going to not want to have sex. A lot of women have pain during sex and then they normalize it. They're like, oh, that's just how sex is, or I can't really do anything about it, or I went to one doctor and they said it was all in my head. If you're having pain during sex, you don't have to live that way. There's a lot of things. It could be pain, dryness, irritation. There's a lot of things that could cause that. And then if you let it go on for a while, the anticipation of that pain, the clenching you're going to make, like your vagina, like that could make it even worse. So get it checked out. Don't let pain stop you. Another one here, you're not prioritizing your sleep, eating well, or exercising regularly.
Yes.
So, that's a big one, you guys. And I actually feel like sleep, eating, and exercise is sort of the solution to so many things. Mm-hmm. In fact, to sleep well, you need to eat well and exercise better. You know what I'm saying? It all goes in, but it's true. Our focus, our attention. If you're hungry, moody, your body's trying to tell you that you need more sleep. You guys, I don't think we pay, and sleep has been like a huge, I feel like, maybe it was like 6-7 years ago, every book was about happiness, and now they're all about sleep. Like all the gurus, health, it's like sleep, 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 you guys. It's really, really important. Take care of your body.
Yeah, this one especially because I had an ex and he would always be like, you never want to have sex anymore. And I'm like, you come over at 2:30 in the morning when I have school at 6:30 in the morning. So I'm tired and I need sleep to function. I also need come over earlier when I'm not tired. I'm like, sleep is important to me.
Yeah, same. No, sleep negotiations is really big in relationships. I've had that before too, where I'm like, if I don't get 8 hours, I need that. And that wasn't always that way, but that's how it is now. And you're just not going to want to have sex. So know what you need.
I know. And I'm cranky.
I am cranky too. We're both that way, right?
Yeah.
Thank God we're not early morning people. Okay. You're not sure what feels good for you in your body. I think this is what we talk about on the show. Like, this is my message to the universe, that your sexual desires, your preference, your needs, whatever you like is going to differ from person to person. So you have to figure out what you want, what you like, what feels good to you. Explore your body, masturbate. Yeah. However, pay attention when you're having sex so just figure it out. you'll have better sex. Water intake. This has been a big topic too, you guys. If you're skimping on water intake, believe it or not, you guys, you could be dehydrated. If you are dehydrated, it can actually lower your libido and make sex painful, which is kind of crazy to think about. But headaches, fatigue, irritability, all that stuff can hinder your ability to like actually want to have sex. So your cells need water to remain hydrated. And then if you're not hydrated, you're going to have pain. So, and the same thing goes for dehydration and erectile dysfunction. If you're having a hard time getting hard, staying hard, you're not happy with your erection, drink some water. If you're just drinking coffee all day, you know, a lot of us just drink a lot of coffee and sugary sodas, and we don't drink water. And I put these tablets, like I have hydration tablets. I love Hydrolyte just because it makes me drink more water. So whatever I can do to drink it, like you have to.
It's always funny to me when I hear someone's like, oh, like I don't really like water. Like I drink it because I have to. I'm like, I love water. I definitely always need to remind myself to drink enough because you actually do have to drink a lot of water throughout the day. It's like a constant thing and it's annoying to pee that much, but it's good for you. But I love water. Like there's nothing more refreshing to me than like just like ice cold water.
I know. I feel the same. When we got a water cooler here, that was huge.
Oh my God, I know.
The dark days at Sex with Emily. I know. It's amazing. So yeah, you guys, and that's the whole thing about your penis too. Dehydration can affect your penis. Okay, you recently gave birth. You guys know this, but you might not be in the mood for sex. Intercourse can be painful, postpartum tearing, healing. It takes a while, you guys. I mean, your doctors always say, wait 6 weeks. But the truth is, for a lot of women, it could take months. It could take many months. When you breastfeed, that decreases your estrogen levels. Your vagina is less lubricated, not going to want sex. I mean, there's all, and that makes sex painful. So just know that don't rush to what your doctors, don't rush to kind of meet this 6 weeks and deadline. Like if your body's not in it, you're not going to want to have sex. You're stressed about other things.
I think that's the biggest one.
It is. Anxiety, hugest killer of our sex drive. Mental energy. If you're mentally focused on a million other things, that is going to impact your ability to enjoy sex. All right.
And this last one.
Okay. Finally, you're just not interested in sex either in the moment or in the long run. Okay. If you're this person, it's just 1% of the population, you might be asexual. 1%. You never really feel sexual attraction or desire. You could be asexual. And there's nothing wrong with that. And asexuality is also on a spectrum. You might still masturbate. You might even still have sex. But you might not find an attraction to people as readily. There's many ways to figure this out too. So that's another possibility. So those are a lot. Do any of those resonate with you? If so, I hope they helped you all go, oh, that's it. I need to get a water cooler. I need to get more sleep. I need to get off these meds and talk to my doctor and take something that will allow me to have sex. So, okay, guys. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're getting into your calls. All right, guys, I love answering your questions. So if you want a question answering on the show, go to my website, sexwithemily.com, click the Ask Emily tab, fill out the short form, check yes if you want to be called, or email me, as always, feedback@sexwithemily.com. Include your name, your age, where you live, and how you listen to the show. Thanks, guys. All right, I love this. We have a couple calling in, Jim and Pam, 35 from Iowa, and they want to know how to navigate or start an open relationship. Hi, Jim and Pam.
Hi.
Hey, so tell me what's going on.
Well, so essentially about a year ago, we kind of got a little more experimental and exploratory with our sex life. And one of the items we originally tried to explore was looking to try and do a threesome.
Okay.
Well, kind of on the way to that, we ended up meeting a woman that was herself in an open relationship, but only with other women. And then she and my wife kind of hit it off really well. They actually started dating. And right after the first date, the question came up there if we were interested in an open relationship. We're both open to the idea. It's just such a new area and such a new area for us to explore that we aren't entirely sure what we're doing.
Okay. And you guys have been together. How long have you guys been together?
We've been married for 10 years, together for 15.
Okay, great. And you guys sound like you're a really open, solid place. So you really, here's the thing about open relationships is that there's a lot of talking, right? There's a lot of really in setting boundaries. So there's a great book called Opening Up by Tristan Taormino. And I would recommend that book because I think you guys can kind of walk through it together. But what the most important thing is like making sure that you guys keep open lines of communication. So what are the boundaries? Here's some examples. You allowed to have sleepovers. Do you want to meet the person ahead of time? Do you guys each on the same night, you're both going to, go on dates with somebody else? Are you going to share what happens, or is it don't ask, don't tell? Are there certain things that are off limits, on limits? And I think you guys will actually have fun with this. I think talking about it, and there actually are there's some stuff online. I'm wondering, like, and maybe even in this book, there's like a list that it can ask you. They call them like yes, no, maybe lists, but I think they have them for open relationships. Like, because right now you might not know all the things that could come up. So it could ask you, like, you guys could sit there and think, well, how would you feel if I came home and said, you could even walk through it. Like Pam, you could come in and say, okay, last night I had 16 orgasms with this guy and it was the best oral ever, and his penis was huge. And, Jim, like, how would you feel about all those details? So you guys can kind of role play and kind of see like what would fly and what wouldn't. And I think the guidance of this book, and maybe even seeing a couples counselor, there's some that actually specialize in this to make sure that you don't, that you're kind of going in the right direction. So that's what I would cover beforehand. But obviously, you're not going to know until it actually happens. So be prepared that when this actually does happen and you come home after and you talk about it, it's not like, there might be some jealousy, like unexpected, or even in places that you didn't think would bother you. And so that's when you really talk about it. You're like, well, this really made me feel this way. And then this is why. And so what I've found from people in open relationships is that the ones I know that are really in healthy open relationships have the most honest, open communication that is actually really admirable, I think. And they go places that people in monogamous relationships often don't. So I think it could be really positive. Just make sure you keep talking.
Yeah, we've done so much talking. There's so many emotions.
That's good.
This week's man.
That's good.
I've spent several days just like writing out like lists of rules on a notepad, like of things that we were be comfortable or not comfortable with. And like,
oh, good. Okay, so it sounds like you guys are already
like if it did happen.
Yeah, no, I love it. You guys sound great. I mean, it sounds like you're already then going in the right direction. And then, and I think you just keep that going because you can't know until it happens. But I think it helps to do as much work you can ahead of time, and then to honor those boundaries, obviously, and like watch the drinking. If you guys are big drinkers or alcohol, like sometimes people can, social lubricant. Sometimes we make, we do things we wouldn't normally do. So I think it's great to kind of limit that, drugs, alcohol, when our inhibitions go down. And so, yeah. Any other specific questions? It sounds like you guys are already off to a good start.
We are. It's just been kind of tricky. We're in Iowa where like nothing is.
I know. That was the other thing. You're in Iowa. So how does this happen? Do you guys have kids? Do you have time? Can you travel or?
We do. So we're midge limited.
Right.
And we've been playing around on the different like dating apps and things like that. It's just so difficult.
It is. Yeah. Is there
we'd have to probably travel to a bigger city.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe go to a city close by. There's some apps like Field is an app, FEELD, and FetLife. Although I'm not sure how populated it is in Iowa. You could have a weekend in Vegas. But I think you'd also be surprised, though. I think that there are more people who are interested in this than you actually might think. So, the swinger next door. So I think that you're going to find your people when you put it out there. So keep looking and then see what you got to do to make it happen. Finding that other person can be challenging, but I think you guys are, they are there, I promise you. And if you have to go to another city, you might have to travel.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe make a weekend out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Why not? It sounds like a good time. Yeah. So just keep talking, keep looking. You might have some forever now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. Well, I want to hear how it goes, so keep me posted. Thank you guys so much for calling.
Thank you so much. We're huge fans, Emily.
Oh, thank you. I'm fans of yours. I love how you guys are doing this, so thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Have a great night. I love this, you guys. More and more couples now, they really, okay, well, first let me say this. You might be listening going, oh my God, I can never do that. That's crazy, open relationships. And it's certainly not for everyone, I can tell you that. But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who actually make this work by really fierce, honest, open communication. Okay, we have Bethany. She's 29 from Colorado, and her partner is not giving her oral, even though she's a giving lover. Hey, Bethany, thanks for calling. Let's get into this. Tell me what's going on.
You know, it's just funny because I've never been in a relationship where I didn't receive as well. And honestly, it's kind of taken a stab at my confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
It's just strange to me because after not receiving, I realize how important it is.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So you're not wrong here at all. I think that I've been in that situation too. And I was like, what is going on here? So how long have you been with your boyfriend?
It's been a year, and I've kind of decided that if things don't change soon, I don't know if I can continue on. And I felt initially that was kind of shallow of me, but I just want to know if there's a way I can kind of entice him because I feel like I've tried it all.
Okay. Well, let's talk. First of all, it is not shallow. I'm going to tell you here, I've ended a relationship based on lack of oral. I've ended it because, first I wanted, so that is women require, or so many women require oral sex. It's like the way we orgasm. Like we're more likely to orgasm from oral than intercourse. So you're good here. So tell me what you've already done. Tell me how you've talked to him about it in the past.
Well, I've kind of just said, is it something that I'm doing it? Is it my scent or anything like that? And he says, absolutely nothing wrong with your anatomy. It's in my head. I also just skip over it in my mind because I haven't done it in the past 2 relationships I've been in. So I kind of have hinted towards it when we're in that intimate moment.
Okay.
And then he just reverts completely.
Okay.
To something else.
Okay, so good. Okay, so this is great information because here's what I'm thinking, that he's probably feeling like he's not good at it and he doesn't have a lot of experience. So, which he probably doesn't. And so I think it sounds like he doesn't. So I think he probably really wants to please you. It's not like he doesn't sound like he had a bad experience or it's just not his thing, that he might need some guidance from you. But I think what we got to change here, Bethany, is that you have this conversation with him when you're not in the moment. So I think it's time for a heart to heart. Go out to dinner or somewhere where you guys are feeling relaxed. It could be at breakfast in the morning, wherever you feel comfortable, and say, babe, I want to talk to you about something. Love our sex life, our relationship. It's hot, but I know I've brought up oral sex before, and it's something that I've realized now after a year that I actually need it. I miss it. I require it. And so, and I know we've talked about this, but I understand that it sounds to me like maybe you feel like you're not really sure, because you haven't done it a lot. And so, ask him a question, say, is that what it is? And then let him answer.
Yeah.
And then, and then do you think he would be open to that?
Yeah, I think he really does want to try, and maybe I could just give him some pointers.
Yes.
But I guess I haven't ever really taught anybody.
Exactly. Okay, so this is great because I bet he wants to learn and he wants to please you. But, guys don't love asking for directions. A lot of guys, girls don't either, right? Sometimes we're just like, I wish I knew. And then we get in our heads. He's probably really insecure about it. So what I think is great is, now, do you masturbate? Are you familiar with your body?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, this is going so well, Bethany. So I think the thing for you to do is to say, ask him if he'd be open to it, and maybe a little mutual masturbation session where you could show him how, exactly how you like to be touched. Or maybe it's a one-way masturbation where first you get off and he's watching, and then maybe he gets off, because if it's mutual, he might not really be able to pay attention. So you could just show him, this is how I like my clitoris touched. This is how I use my fingers. I like to have some lube here, and then actually show him. It's like a show and tell. So you don't you have to explain it when you're talking to him at dinner. You can just let him know that you'd love to work on it together, that you actually think it would be really hot for you guys to figure it out together. So in every situation, it's a new learning curve, because even if he'd been doing it to every woman in the past, every woman's body is different. So I think first find out if you've got the go ahead, if he's cool and he wants to learn. And then it's either through mutual masturbation, or even if it's just you saying, you know what? So next time when you go down to me, know that you're going to know that he's on board, and say, I can't wait to teach you. I think it'd be so hot for me to show you exactly what I like. And then he'll feel less anxious, like he's supposed to be performing. And then you guys can, learn together. You can teach him while he's learning.
Be fun.
Make it fun though. Make it fun, make it light. and just give him give him an option. Because what happened to me was I said to my partner, I said, listen, is it number one, you're not really sure if I'm into it, or number two, you're not sure that you want to do it, or number three, it's not your thing. And he said, you know what? It's not my thing. And then I said, well, babe, you're not my thing. And then I ended my relationship. It's a deal breaker. Yeah. So for you, though, I'm thinking you're going to hear, yeah, I really want to, but I'm just not sure what I'm doing. You say, wow, great, because I can't wait to show you. And then you make it fun. You keep it light. And, might take a little bit of time. It takes a while. Like my boyfriend didn't get it. A lot of guys don't get it right away. So you just keep working on it so you can get what you want.
Yeah. Maybe it's just intimidating to them, I guess.
It is. It's really intimidating to them because they want to please you so bad. And then men have this thing in their head like, oh, I should already know. And why don't I know? And it makes me less of a man. None of which is true. So the more you can make him feel like, he is that great lover and he's hot and you can't wait and all that stuff, he's going to be able to relax into it and give you those screaming orgasms that you deserve. Okay,
I'll
Bethany?
try, guys. It's going to only be a little bit longer until I'm like,
I know. Well, this is why I think it's got to be like tonight. Just talk to him about it.
Yep.
It sounds scary, but once you get into it.
Tonight.
Perfect. Please do it tonight, and then please let me know how it goes. Okay?
Okay. I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. Thanks for calling Sex with Emily. I love this, you guys. We all have pleasure as our birthright, and we all have the right to better sex, and especially oral sex, you guys. So tell your partner what you want, make sure they're on board, and let's all go down like we mean it. Chris, he's 36 in Oklahoma, and he can't stay hard in couple swapping, but he can during threesomes, regardless of the third person's gender. Hey, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I love this question. So tell me what's going on. Break this down for me.
Basically exactly what you said. My wife and I have been playing around with, third parties for a little over a year, and we decided we would try the couples thing because unicorns are hard to find. So
ain't that the truth?
Went that route.
So when you're so you've been in threesomes with men and women. Now, are you bisexual? Are you with men, or is it she's with the men?
Just her.
Just her. Okay. So what happens is you swap. She's with a man. Like, is it a married couple that you're swapping with?
Yes.
Okay. And so is she in another room?
No, we're together in the same bed so far.
All four of you are in the same bed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe that's part of it. What if you separated and went to another room with the woman?
I think that would be easier for me with the other girl, but I'm afraid of where my mind will go otherwise.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, you don't have to do this either, right? Like I don't want to know there's not like a gun to your head. This might not be your thing, right? It might just be hard for you. But also know that a lot of the challenges that we have around sex, whether it's swapping or even just having an orgasm or asking for what we want, is because we're in our head and we're so worried about whatever it is that our brain leaves our genitals and it goes right to our brains. So whenever you're thinking, you're going to get softer down there and your brain's going to be inflamed. So this is really a mindfulness practice. Do you have any practice with experience with meditation? Anything like that? Okay. Well, I'll make this easy for you. Don't worry. I'm not going to light incense and make you do anything all woo-woo here. Okay. But really right. Don't worry. Don't hang on. Here's the thing about mindfulness. This is what it means. Let me break this down. Basically, it means that when you're with this other person, and I think it might help if you're in the other room, that the second your mind is going to, oh my God, what's happening with my wife? You go right back to, you engage all of your senses. And what I mean by that is you go back to, okay, in the moment, what am I seeing? Well, I'm seeing this woman in front of me who's really turned on. What am I hearing? I'm hearing the music in the background. What am I smelling? Oh, that vanilla candle smells great. What am I touching? Her skin feels really soft right now. And so you might only be able to do one of those. But when we drop into our senses in a moment, then nothing else exists. You're just present. And you might have to do that 16 times in a minute. But the more you do that, and it's practice, the more you'll be able to connect with this woman and be more present and have sex with her without your brain getting in the way. Because all that stuff is just, you can control that because it's actually you talking to yourself. It's not some foreign voice in our brain. Unfortunately, it's not like some foreign alien in our brain, even though it feels right. But the good news is that you're in control. And what I would say is before you guys go on to another swap, I'd love you to start practicing this when you're masturbating or when you're actually having sex with your wife. Because, sometimes even when we're with our partners, we're like, oh God, I turn off the oven. Like, oh, the kid's going to come in. We worry. So the more you can say, you know what? Let me practice thinking about like being present and engaging my senses with my wife. You'll already have practiced for when you bring in the next person.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I actually have tried almost what you said the last time we were with a couple, because since the first time I sent you guys the question, we've been with another couple, actually the same couple, and I did exactly that, and it helped out quite a bit. But I did still notice back and forth that, I was wondering, well, what the fuck is she doing?
Right. Well, it's a practice. That's why they call it a practice, right? And only the Buddha gets to become the Buddha. Like, this is it's a lifetime practice. Like, I still get distracted during sex. It's my job. And I remember I got to bring myself back. So it's not like it's perfect. Everyone's mind wanders during sex. Is my partner pleased? What's going on? Is that a noise outside? So just know that that's great. So you're telling me the second time it felt better. So this is just keep doing it. Keep doing this, keep practicing this. And then also know that if this doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can go back to the threesomes. Right. You can go back to the foursome. Maybe have a foursome where you're all in it together, literally. So just, there's nothing wrong here. Just see how it goes the next time. And I think it's going to keep getting better since it already is improving.
I agree. Hopefully I'll just keep trying.
Good. Okay. Just keep being present with that. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. I love that people are trying to explore something different each time, right? I mean, you got swapping and threesomes, and our brains just do things we don't want them to do. But the more we can practice being in our body and being present in the moment, whether you're with one person or 6 people, it's going to serve you, and it's going to help us all have better sex. Matt, he's 30 from New Zealand, and he wants to revive his sex life. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Emily. Nice to talk to you.
So nice to talk to you, too. So tell me what's going on.
I guess, yeah. So, I guess our sort of sex life has taken a bit of a back seat to, I guess, like the rest of life. And because we've just moved from New Zealand to Australia, and my partner's a bit stressed, and like her job's not going well. And there's all these other sort of external factors, I guess, that are impacting, but and I guess being stressed and all that, sex life does take that back seat. Was the first thing that takes the back seat. So,
it does.
Something like perhaps just little tricks or ways to sort of start to reintroduce that fire that was there.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like you guys have had some stress and some anxiety and stress, like the biggest killer of our sex drive. So you know that. Yeah. You've been listening to the show. So you're wondering, like, how do I bring it back? What do we do? And she's on board as well. She's ready.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've started. We do talk about it, and it is something that we do address every now and then. But I guess got to talk about it even more. Yeah, you're never done talking about it. That's the thing. I think we don't talk about it enough. People are like, oh yeah, we talked about it, last summer. It's like, no, this is the kind of thing you talk about. As much as you talk about what we're going to do on Saturday night, you continue to talk about your sex life. So, okay, how is your first, have you guys talked about your turn-ons or any fantasies you have, or do you happen to know what gets you both going? Where to start? Yeah, well, I feel like it's been, it's definitely been over a few months now, and you start kind of almost feel like I've sort of forgotten how to do it,
right.
Like to sort of, we do, and I know that she does love to, experiment with like textures and like touch and, have sort of things like that. So,
right. So slowing things down,
talking about it even more.
Yeah, you talk about it even more, but like in a way that's fun. See, this is what I love this, because what couples have to realize is that, like, I know when we think about sex, we're like, oh, it's going to be a big conversation. It's going to be so scary. But if you look at it, like, we're going to learn something new here together, and it's actually going to enhance our intimacy. We're actually going to learn what really turns each other on. So you're talking about kind of slowing things down and playing with different senses. So, you guys could like, I love just, especially if she's been stressed and you guys have both been stressed, like start out with taking like the whole sex thing off, like you've already taken off the table, but you don't have to jump right into like having intercourse like you were in the past, but maybe just some touch where you guys are experimenting with some sensual massage, get some massage candles, pour the warm wax on each other, play with different sensations, like, the feathers and the whips and the, you could just use things in the house. You could use ice cubes. You could use like a necklace, you know, with like beads on it, and just use a blindfold, or one of you's blindfolded and the other one is like, you know, using ice cubes, or giving the other one a massage, and doing different things to each other. So it's like a tease, and then you take turns, and just, so you could just kind of play with that. So it's not so much about going back to where you were, but discovering new erogenous zones and new ways to play.
Yeah, totally. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because often you do kind of think that, you know, that end game, or like, you know, having sex, where, you're so right, that, you know, bringing it back, I think, would help.
Yeah. I think just taking off I think that we think of sex in such a linear way, and we think, there's the foreplay and then there's the sex, right? But I think foreplay, and I think a lot of, you know, people can agree with me that that's kind of can be like the most exciting part of sex, getting aroused and the teasing, and it really can enhance your intimacy. So you guys can either like talk about things that you want to try. You could, you know, if there's any, like, you guys could watch some porn together or get a book. You know, I have a book called Hot Sex.
Yeah.
It's called Hot Sex, Over 200 Things You Can Try Tonight. And it's a beautiful book. I mean, but it's cool, like pictures of people. You just open, like, I know a lot of people who have it, and like they open it to one page, like, let's try this tonight. And so that could be a really fun thing for you guys to do. You know, just different, just find whatever like sparks your interest. And again, make it fun, keep it light, and just like say, hey, why don't we try this? We'll try this tonight. So how does that feel, Matt?
Yeah, no, that's it's very helpful, so helpful, and it has been something that I have been thinking about for a while, just, you know, and I think you've helped me out a lot.
Okay, good. So it's time to stop thinking and start talking.
And talking,
talking, and not in a threatening way. Yeah, communication is a lubrication. You know, Matt. You know, you got this. So, you know, next time you guys are to dinner in a calming place, you know, not in the bedroom, start to talk about it. Right. And just have some patience, and you can bring it back. I promise. I love that you're so interested in it, and you want to make it work, so it will.
For sure. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you, Matt. It's my pleasure.
Right.
Have a great night.
All the best.
Thank you. Cheers. You too. Thanks for calling from New Zealand. I love it. People everywhere, you guys, no matter where you live, we've all going to have challenges around our sex life. So remember, you guys, it doesn't have to be so scary. The talk does not have to be this like horrible thing. Remember, take it outside the bedroom, make it casual, and find out what you're both into, and then bring that spark back. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this call show and all the tips. Tell me what you think. We love to hear from you. Thanks to my amazing team, Ken, Sarah, producer Jamie, and Michael. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.